Good evening. My name's Tony Carvajal, and it is a wonderful evening to be together celebrating Silver Stars. It's going to be another fantastic evening. Thank you, each of you, for coming and not only honoring the individuals that you have, but supporting the Senior Center along the way. This is the 2025 Silver Stars Award Celebration, another evening among the stars. And I'd like to welcome you to this 23rd annual Silver Star Celebration event, brought to you by the Tallahassee Senior Center and Capital Health Plan. Thank you so much for that partnership and all your support, Capital Health Plan and Tallahassee Senior Center. On behalf of the Senior Center and the Foundation, we are so glad you are here. Many of you have been here for a majority of these events. I know Anna Johnson's here, and we've been celebrating with you all for quite a while. Over the past 23 years, Silver Stars have defied the stereotype that after the age of 60, we become less active. Since 2001, 185 individuals have been recognized as Silver Stars. They inspire us to join a cause, develop a new skill, and make a difference. They motivate us to stay positive, be active, continue to grow, to do, and to give. Silver Stars enrich our lives and are examples of how much our community benefits from this generation. The first Silver Stars were recognized in 2001 as part of the Active Living Expo held at then what was called Tallahassee Community College. Was anybody in this room there? Other than Sheila? Yes, there were a few of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. The event transitioned into the auditorium at the Tallahassee Senior Center. I loved that, but it got really crowded very quick, and it was there for 4 years. How many of you were at the Tallahassee Senior at the Armory for this celebration? A few more of you. Scott, thank you for your support. I appreciate that support. And in 2008, thanks to the support and generosity of Capital Health Plan, they stepped up to claim the presenting sponsor role and provided the initial support needed to move here to our new home, the Dunlap Champions Club. So thank you so much for that and for all of your continued support. We've got one of the largest crowds we've had at one of these events. And all of you are calm and unruly like last year's crowd. They were crazy. So thank you so much for being here and calmly enjoying this evening and celebrating. It must have something to do with the Silver Stars that we have. The Silver Stars span our communities. They're veterans, artists, teachers, social workers, judges, advocates, authors, community volunteers, and leaders. There are a few of the past Silver Stars here this evening, and as I go through the list, if you wouldn't mind just standing or waving and letting us know so that we can celebrate you. For example, in 2017, Dr. Fred H. Williams was honored. Dr. Williams, thank you. In 2018, E. Ann Cleary and Nancy Goodett. In 2021, I know she's here, the Honorable Major Marjorie Turnbull and Colonel Washington J. Sanchez, Jr. In 2022, my heart, Anna Johnson Riedel, thank you so much. 2024, Marie Cowart, Reverend Holmes, Mike Francis, Virginia Glass, and Gloria Sanchez. Thank you so much for making last year such a memorable event. In just a few moments, we'll meet our 2025 Silver Star honorees. But first, we need to recognize some of the dignitaries that are here who have taken some of their time today, after a very long day, I'm sure, and they're joining us this evening. But I've had conversations with them. I see Mayor Pro Tem Curtis Richardson here. I know how energized he gets at this event. It's a fantastic evening. Seriously. So first, Mayor John Daly. I know that you are here, and we'll hear from you in just a few moments. Thank you so much. Mayor Pro Tem Curtis Richardson up here. Leon County Commissioner Carolyn Cummings. I saw you were here earlier. Director of Communications Allison Ferris. The Manager of Community Services for Parks and Recs and Neighborhood Affairs, Venus Childs. Look, these folks give of their time, and for them to join us this evening, it really does mean a lot. But I know that from speaking with each of them, they actually get energized at these events, because this is an evening where we honor our community leaders, those that have been blazing the trails here in our community for a very long time. At this time, what I'd like to do is invite my friend and our mayor, John Daly. John, would you come up and just welcome the crowd and share a few words?
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Glenn, how are you, man? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Daly. I'm the proud mayor of the great city of Tallahassee. And on behalf of our city, I want to welcome everyone here this evening. To recap, I am joined by the Mayor Pro Tem of the city of Tallahassee, Commissioner Diane Williams-Cox. We have got the Dean of the City Commission, Curtis Richardson, here. We got Commissioner Carolyn Cummins that's here, and the Deputy City Manager, Dr. Karen Jumaville, that's here as well. But I also, on behalf of the city, want to thank, and I know that this is someone who needs no introduction, so I'll just simply say, the woman, the myth, the living legend herself, Miss Sheila Sawyer over here. Sheila, if you'll please wave. Sheila, you and the team do an absolutely amazing job, literally recognized as one of the best operations in the United States. We could not be more proud. But ladies and gentlemen, I also know that there are a lot of volunteers that help make Tallahassee such a very, very, very special place. And if you wouldn't mind just waving, if you are currently serving on the foundation or on the advisory council, let us see who you are and recognize you as well. Thank you so very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we gathered tonight to celebrate the 2025 Star Awards, and it's going to be an absolutely incredible evening. Truth of the matter is, Tallahassee is a great place to live, work, and play. You all epitomize what it means to be Tallahasseans. And let's think about this for just a second. We've been named one of the top 25 communities to live, work, and play. We've been named one of the best public utilities in the United States of America for the second year in a row. We've been named one of the strongest local economies in the United States of America, and we have just been nominated for our third All-American City Award. It is a great time to be in Tallahassee. It is a great time to celebrate Tallahassee, but in closing, none of that really matters. There's only one thing that really, really matters, right, Sheila? And that is we are going to build the best in the world, most dynamic 21st century senior center coming online soon for each one of y'all to enjoy. And yes, it will have pickleball as well. We will put the courts in. In closing, on behalf of the city of Tallahassee, it's my honor and privilege to welcome y'all here tonight. Let's celebrate. Tony? Thank you. Thank you.
Active living and energy. Thank you so much, Mayor. Always so charged. Commissioner Cox, I'm sorry that I didn't see you walk in, but I'm so glad that you were here. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I also want to give you some hope. Madison Glazer with WCTV is going to be joining up here in a little while to honor the folks. So Madison, looking forward to it. Everybody's looking forward to me not being on the stage, so recognizing that. I want to introduce somebody who's made these evenings special for the last few years. Jason Flom, Director of Cornerstone Learning Community. I want to recognize 17 years of partnering with the Tallahassee Senior Center Silver Stars to produce the fabulous video interviews that we have this evening. And while you start coming up, let me just make a note. How many of you, this is your first event, Silver Stars event? Okay. Hang in there because it does get better than me at this point, but you're going to notice from Jason in a few minutes some of the fantastic things that are ahead. We've got fantastic things to recognize, and Jason, thank you so much for that partnership for so long.
Thank you. Good evening, friends, families, fourth graders, and most importantly, our shining Silver Stars. And thank you to everyone who made this evening possible. It is such a joy to be with you tonight as someone who has had the privilege of being a part of this larger community for 5 decades and this incredible tradition for 17 years. Silver Stars is one of those cornerstone moments that remind us all of why we're here. to honor the people who have come before us, guided us, taught us, and generously shared their stories and their wisdom. And let me tell you, there's no better combination than Silver Stars and fourth graders. You get the best of both worlds, decades of valuable life experience and zero filter. I understand that one of the draft of questions pondered, did you really live through both disco and dial-up? And the answer is yes. Yes, they did. Heroes, every one of them. And we are honored to be a part of this. As this year we celebrate our 25th anniversary, I couldn't help but reflect on who we are as a school and how this fits into our values and virtues as a school community. For the past 16 years, our preschoolers and kindergartners have been partnered with the Alzheimer's Project and visit there every month as a part of their Grand Friends Intergenerational Music Therapy Project, or as we like to call it, just having fun together. And next year, these fourth graders will join a 16-year tradition of our civil rights trip for fifth graders, where they visit Selma, Montgomery, Tuskegee, and Atlanta to celebrate and honor and reflect on the generations of heroes who fought for rights and equality long before us. We value the generations who have come before us. Yes. We couldn't be more proud of what our school stands for, and if you haven't heard about us yet or visited us yet, I encourage you to do so. Cornerstone Learning Community. Our mission is to inspire and empower compassionate learners, global learners, and this is alive and well in this partnership, so we thank you and are reflective of it. Tonight is not only a celebration of longevity, though, it's a celebration of impact. Our Silver Stars have been artists, activists, judges, caregivers, builders, and believers in a better world. They are living proof that a meaningful life is built not just with time, but with purpose. They've mentored, volunteered, voted, protested, planted, painted, and probably perfected banana bread before it was cool. Now, I'd like to take a moment to clear up a little rumor. Yes, today is my 50th birthday. Thank you. That part's true. No, this gala is not just an elaborate surprise party for me. Though, if it were, this would be the most age-appropriate birthday theme I could imagine. Nothing says welcome to your 50s like being outshined by people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. At this point, I'm just trying to keep up. In all seriousness, this night belongs to you, our Silver Stars, and the families and communities that they impact and are impacted by them. You remind us what it means to be fully human, to love deeply, give freely, laugh often, and leave the world a little brighter than you found it. You have lit the path for generations behind you, and tonight we simply say, thank you. You deserve to be celebrated, you deserve to be listened to, and you deserve to know just how much you are admired. So from all of us at Cornerstone Learning Community, especially your fourth grade interviewers who are probably still processing what a rotary phone is, we thank you. You are our guiding stars. Enjoy this beautiful evening. You've earned it.
We've had lots of great partners over the years, and the fourth graders are actually not only humbling, but fantastic. So thank you so much for each of you who did it this year as well. I get to introduce our next guest, Kayla Hardy. And as I was preparing for this evening, yes, I was preparing. I know it's hard to tell sometimes, but as I was preparing, somebody walked up to her and said, "Do you work for the Senior Center?" And she kind of looked and she didn't know how to answer, because the answer is probably yes. But she is the president of the Tallahassee Senior Foundation Board of Directors, but she has a real job. Kayla is the vice president of business banking with Capital City Bank. Kayla is guided by deep-seated values of family, faith, loyalty, and integrity, and is valued for her passion and excellence she brings as a leader to our important nonprofit arm at the Tallahassee Senior Center. Kayla, thank you so much. I turn the stage over to you.
Thank you, Tony, and happy birthday. Good evening. It is my pleasure to be here for the 23rd anniversary of Silver Stars. I want to first start by thanking Madison and Tony for taking time to MC for us this evening. A senior center is defined as a place that connects older adults to vital community services that can help seniors stay healthy and independent. What defines the Tallahassee Senior Center? It's more than just a place. We are a community and we are a family connected through lifelong learning, art, fitness, wellness, and socialization. A place to gather, a place to feel at home. The Senior Foundation's mission is to raise funds to support programs. We are proud to partner with the City of Tallahassee to support this vital mission. Tonight's event is just one example of the many ways the Senior Center recognizes the importance of active living and optimal aging. We're also grateful to work alongside City Management, Manager Reese Goad, and Communications Director Allison Ferris. We are truly blessed in Tallahassee to enjoy this great partnership. I want to also thank the Leon County Commissioners for the past 24 years of funding for senior programs in our county community centers. Participation in those outreach sites is booming and making a positive impact on seniors. Please share our appreciation with your fellow commissioners. And thank you for your continued support of our senior services. We are excited to inform you that our second Tallahassee Senior Center is progressing well, and maybe this time next year, we will be planning a grand opening. Our theme Soaring to New Heights fundraiser has raised $120,000 to support more programming and services when that facility comes online. This will be a celebration for the entire community and future generations to enjoy. Thanks to all of our members and business partners who donate throughout the year to help fund our programs, and especially to Capital Health Plan for seeing that this event continues in glamorous fashion. We hope you have a great time this evening, and we want to invite you to consider becoming a member of the foundation if you are not already. I want to introduce our team of board members who are here tonight. Let's save applause for this fabulous team until the end, but if you will, please stand when I call your name. Carol Thompson Riley, immediate past president. Edna Owens, our secretary. AJ Chata, our treasurer. Scott Harrell. Nina Davis. Clay Dodson. Debbie Leonard. Tom Reimers. Linda Roberts. And Alyssa Rudlow. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce you all tonight to our newest Team Senior Center member, who will begin her long tenure a week from today. Our next Senior Services Manager and Executive Director of the Tallahassee Senior Center, Ms. Ciola Grant. Welcome. As Sheila says, Ciola and I speak the same language. She brings with her years of Senior Center experience, beginning at the Tallahassee Senior Center as far back as 2003 while working at Lake Ella Manor and the FSU College of Medicine. More recently, Ciola served as Senior Center Manager in centers in Virginia and now returns to her hometown. She brings with her experience and passion to serve active seniors and the energy it takes to keep the Tallahassee Senior Center at the forefront of senior centers across the country. Ciola received her bachelor's degree from FAMU and a master's from FSU. She's already one of all of us. Please give our next director a warm welcome. And without further ado, please welcome Madison Glazer with WCTV to the podium to present our 2025 Silver Stars.
All right, well, hi, I'm Madison. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It is such an honor to be here at the 23rd Annual Silver Stars. And I know John Daly probably said it best, saying that it's people like you that make up Tallahassee, that make it so great, that lay that foundation for maybe the fourth graders that are coming up and are going to be part of our future. I do want to take a moment, though, to thank the Senior Center and the foundation for making this event possible so that we can honor these amazing seniors that are in our community. So if we could just give them a quick round of applause, that'd be awesome. And I do have to make a note. I've seen a couple people come up here and pull out their glasses to read. I decided to do the opposite and take mine off tonight, so bear with me as I try to read these scripts. So we are ready to go ahead and introduce you to the 2025 Silver Stars and their interviewees, who are fourth grade students from Amelia Moore's fourth grade class at Cornerstone Learning Community. So as usual, one of the highlights of the event will be the videos where they get to interview each other, and the students conducted with their Silver Stars. So we're going to go ahead and start by asking the first group to come up, which is going to be Joel Dawson and Audie Wassman. So while they're making their way to the stage, I have to tell you guys a little story. When the city of Tallahassee called me and asked me to do this event, yeah, go ahead and make your way up if you want to. So the city called and asked if I would partake in being one of the announcers for the Silver Stars event. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely, I would love to. Then they told me who did it in the past, which was Anna Johnson and Art Myers. Now, are you kidding me? What kind of feat is that? I will never measure up, so thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Anna Johnson, if you are here, I would like to see you raise your hand. I heard you may be in the crowd tonight. Oh, okay, it's not too late. It's not too late. All right, perfect. All right, so thank you guys so much, and congratulations to you. Thank you. Of course. So they say, look before you leap, and that's never been Joel Dawson's motto, so I've been told. So let's go ahead and see where she lands. You want to?
Miss Joel, where did you grow up?
Well, I grew up out in the country in Cincinnati, and that other kids would say I grew up in the sticks because I lived 5 miles away from my school, and that I was lucky that I got to play in the woods. I had a lot of opportunities to do somewhat risky things like climb a tree over the concrete patio and swing on grapevines and things like that. And that my mother was very interested in nature, and so I learned a lot about biology and about life as a child.
Can you tell me about your teaching career?
My first teaching job was at a Girl Scout camp, and I was a nature specialist for the Brownies when I was 15 years old. And so for a long time, I knew I wanted to be a biology teacher. People had encouraged me to get my doctorate, and so I did that in science education. But I didn't get my real job that had to do with that until 1991, when I became the science coordinator for the district.
When did you become the principal of SAIL?
Well, I was one of the first teachers, and it was called the Alternative Learning Center at the time. So I was there in the very, very beginning when we were just figuring out what to do every day. So it was quite a challenge. But after 3 months, the man who was really the originator of the plan left. And they looked around and they said, who's the straightest person here with the highest degree? And we'll make that person principal. So that was in 1975.
Miss Joel, where have you traveled and what was your favorite place?
I was very lucky to have met my husband. When we're in a store and he's lost me, which happens quite often, he starts asking people, he said, have you seen a Q-tip walking around? I've been to 85 countries. And some of my favorite places were India and Papua New Guinea, where people, some of them are still living like in the Stone Age. And I think one of the most interesting ones was in Tanzania, where my husband and I got to spend 3 nights with the Hadza, who are hunter-gatherers, and they're some of the only ones left in the world.
Miss Joel, has photography always been a hobby?
Well, actually, no. My mother took a lot of pictures when I was growing up and taught me some things about how to take good pictures. But in the last 30 years, taken a lot. And when we go on trips, I've taken a lot of pictures. One of the things that I feel I'm proud of is that my husband and I did an exhibit at City Hall, and it was Faces Around the World, and it was 25 animals and 25 people. Also, another thing I'm proud of is that PhotoFest is a local photo contest, and this last year, besides being accepted, I got first prize in that.
Miss Joel, what accomplishment in your life are you most proud of?
So one of the things that I see in my life is that I've been a risk taker, and so that I have accepted a number of jobs where when I started I didn't know what I was doing, but I would leap into that opportunity and do it. And also I physically did that when I jumped out of an airplane when I was 70, and when I flew over the cliffs of Lima on a sailplane. I've been involved in a number of volunteer things. One is working with the women at the Hope Center where they were homeless. I and other members of our organization called Zonta, which helps women and girls around the world, did workshops with them on getting and keeping a job and cooking nutritionally.
Miss Joel, do you have any advice for me?
One is to relax more and enjoy your friends. And the other one is do it now.
Did these two not do a spectacular job? Yeah, I'd say so. So adventurous and daring. If you didn't get that from that video, then I don't know what gives you adventurous and daring. Her jumping out of that plane is quite a feat in itself. So Joel's never shied away from a daunting task, whether it's taking the helm of a new school or volunteering with underprivileged women, encouraging schools to practice sustainability, or work with the Red Cross after Hurricane Katrina crippled much of the Gulf Coast. Those disasters we know all too well in our area, of course. Joel lives life to the fullest. You can see that in that video, right? Yeah. So when she's not traveling the world with her husband, you can find her taking fitness classes at the senior center or helping care for friends with health issues. Joel keeps hoping to be the oldest contestant on The Amazing Race, but her advice to relax more, well, relax isn't in her vocabulary, I don't think, would you say? So helping Joel celebrate this evening are her dear husband, George, and her several close friends. So we just want to thank you for your fearlessness, Joel. Your community appreciates you. So I do want to remind you too, while we go through the event tonight, many biographies are included in that program that is on the table with you. So as you will see, an entire book can be written about each Silver Star. I mean, just Joel herself, right? So we're just going to highlight some of those accomplishments though in these videos and in these scripts that I'm up here reading. So thanks to Jameson Red and Cornerstone Learning Community students, you will get to know each one better through those interviews. So we've got some exciting stuff in store. We want to go ahead and call up our next contestant to the stage, Judge Augustus D. Akins Jr., and he was interviewed by Avi Kauflin. Oh, look at you, knowing your manners, buttoning your coat and stuff. Come on. Looking snazzy tonight. All right, so Judge Augustus Akins, after serving 27 years as a Leon County judge, has himself been judged worthy of being a Silver Star, so congratulations again to you. We're going to find out what evidence there is to support his recognition.
Judge Akins, what was your childhood like? Well, I was born in Quitman, Georgia. And I was born in Quitman, Georgia because I lived on a farm. My dad was a farmer. My mother was a school teacher. The farm was located on the Florida-Georgia border. I had one brother and 3 sisters. So in growing up on the farm, I had chores to do, all kind of chores, such as picking fruit. We did chores before we went to school, hoeing crops. My dad had a vegetable farm, so it was something to do always.
Judge Akins, what was school like when you were 9?
I went to what we call, the name of the school was Madison County Training School at 9. And it was a segregated school. Only black kids went there. I graduated in 1967 from Madison High School. I then went to Florida State University Law School, started in 1970. Received degrees in a Juris Doctor degree, and also got a master's. I was recognized by the Florida Supreme Court last year with a proclamation. My last recognition was that the Leon County Courthouse was named after me, and that was a tremendous honor.
Judge Akins, tell me about your military service.
I was focused on law school, but I ended up joining the unit here, and I found it to be such a rewarding experience. It became something that I just look forward to doing. My unit was called up to go to Desert Storm. We were in support of Kuwait for an invasion that Iraq had made within their country. Doing that was valuable service, and I was awarded with the Bronze Star Medal afterwards.
Judge Akins, why did you choose to go into law?
After graduating from law school in 1974, I started my own practice for about 3 years. What got me interested in that was Perry Mason. My grandmother had a television. We didn't have one, but the cases that he acquired from his client made it every appearance that his clients were completely guilty. But through his hard work and effort, he was able to get a courtroom confession from the real culprit. Said that if I ever got the opportunity to be a judge, that I would make sure that I gave people a fair hearing on all the issues that were presented. It was not so much whether they won or lost, but whether or not they believed they were treated fairly.
Judge Akins, what is something that you'd like to do more often?
Well, I like to travel with my family as we've done in the past. We've gone up and traveled through the Blue Ridge Highway and Appalachians, and we're going up to Virginia and Washington, D.C., the historical sites. And when my children were small, they got a chance to see those places, and it reinforced what they learned in school. So I would like to do more of that. I'm passionate about my children, my grandchildren. I'm passionate about doing things in terms of working out in the yard, doing things like that. But what I really like doing is going back up to my dad's farm and working there.
What was the best piece of advice you got as a child?
The best advice I got as a child was to, when you work, you do your very best. And not only the quality of your work, but you did it so that you were satisfied with it. My dad encouraged us to be satisfied with the work that we did because it's our work and it represents us.
What a message about that hard work paying off. So good for those 4th graders to hear that now at such a young age. Now, I've got to say, having the Leon County Courthouse named after you, that's a huge feat, too, in itself. I like to pretend Madison Street's named after me. So as you can see, obviously, retirement does not mean he stopped serving or being active. Nominated by past Silver Star Colonel Washington Sanchez. Is he in the house tonight? Hello. Setting the bar high, right? Judge Akins spent his career dedicated to serving veterans and ensuring justice is applied with compassion and integrity. for each individual. And we need people like you in our community to continue to do that, to be those pillars. One of his most significant achievements, though, has been his leadership in organizing and overseeing the Leon County Veteran Treatment Court for the past 10 years. So Colonel Sanchez agrees that the decision to name the Leon County Courthouse after Judge Aikens demonstrated the county commissioner's recognition of his powerful impact on our local community. So with all the evidence in, I think it's safe to say that Judge Aikens has been found guilty of being an outstanding citizen. So Judge Aikens is surrounded by his wife, family, and friends. Thank you for your service. So next up, we want to call to the stage Mary Randall Johnson. Oh, she's got a big crowd in the house tonight. And we want to invite up her fourth grader, Asa Spurlock. You walk with a little bit of swag. So Mary Randall Johnson is a ball of energy. We want to see how she stays active in this video.
Miss Mary, what was Miami like when you were a child?
I was born in West Point, Mississippi. And from there, my parents were sharecroppers. And so they weren't making a decent living. My parents brought me to Miami in 1956. My parents had 9 children, and I'm the second oldest. Miami was great. As a matter of fact, I love Miami. And if I didn't have to buy another house, I would go back there any day. I have 2 children in Miami. I have 13 grands that are still in that area, and I have 5 great-grands that are still in that area. As a child in Miami, we did things like hopscotch, and we had car tires that we would actually roll down the sidewalk. That was our little car. You know, we were going down the sidewalk. Back when I was growing up, everything was outside. You love the outside.
Miss Mary, what was the best piece of advice you got as a child?
The very best piece of advice I got was from my mom. My mom always believed in the Lord. She always wanted us to go to church and be on this committee, be on that committee, do this. Anything that said anything about the Lord or Jesus, my mom would stick us in there.
Miss Mary, what is the accomplishment you're most proud of in your life?
I'm most proud of, after I graduated from high school, I was able to get a job at the telephone company in Miami. At that time, it was Southern Bell. So I was able to work for them for 35 and a half years. And I loved when I was able to retire, young, still having energy to do things. So that was great, my retirement.
Miss Mary, what was it like working at the telephone company?
While I was working there, I had several positions. What it was 911 operator, the 611 operator sometimes. We had the big phones with the rotary dials, and you had to dial a number. And most of them, they call them party lines. There was 2 people on one line. They were cheaper.
Miss Mary, since you've turned 60, what have you done to embrace positive aging?
I have gotten into volunteering, and I volunteer mostly at Southside. And at Southside, we have a program called Healthy for Life, and lots of exercises. I like walking. I would go to Cascade Park. Sometimes I would walk 5 miles, and it's great because it keeps you healthy. It keeps you, I would say it keeps you happy, because while you're walking, there's so many people you walk by. Good morning, how you doing? You know, we have a great time out there in the park just walking.
Miss Mary, what are some of the things you're most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about my great-grandchildren. You have children and then you have grands, but when you get into the greats, it's like you've accomplished something. And even though I didn't have them, but I've accomplished something. And when I go they live in West Palm Beach, I just have a great time with them.
What do you know now that you wish you knew when you were my age?
It's important to, number one, know yourself. Because there's sometimes in my life, there are situations that come up and I want to jump on them. But then I say, no, Mary, that's not for you. And you learn what is good and what is not good. And you learn that from experience.
Way to go, you two. Hey, Asa, have you learned about that phone yet?
I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know. Have to ask him to Google it later. So, according to Mary, she loves the Senior Center so much that she volunteers for and attends everything that she can. She claims that the Senior Center has been a blessing to her, and shortly after her and her husband moved to Tallahassee, he passed away. Yeah, the people at the Senior Center, though, showed her great comfort, love, and support during this tough time, and they still do today. So she says they keep her involved in so many activities. I mean, you can see all the activities she's involved in that video, but it just goes both ways. Mary is not one to sit around and wait to be asked. She steps in and helps wherever needed. And now she's also volunteering with the Southside Outreach programs. Her enthusiasm and love for everything active is contagious. She invites anyone looking for something good to do to join her at the Senior Center, Woodville, or other community centers where programs are offered. Beverly Womble, Southside Outreach Coordinator, says Mary has the commitment, focus, and dedication of a CEO in her volunteer services. Mary, we are pleased to announce this evening that your 3 children have purchased a Galaxy wall star in your honor to mark this occasion. So congratulations. You can see what it looks like here. I believe they're taking it to you now. All right, so next up we have John Schmidt, and he was interviewed by Preston Blocker. No, I'm sure it looks great. This is Preston. It's a man.
Keep going, right? You're looking sharp, bud.
I say look sharp. So a friend to everyone, so I'm told. John Schmidt has never made a stranger. We're going to take a look at that video they did together.
Mr. John, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was born in 1936, and that's a long time ago. That's before the Second World War. And of course, that's up in the cold country. It was so interesting there. I can remember it got so cold, my dad would actually give me a ride to school if it got 20 below zero. I can remember my mother actually worked in a factory making bomb parts for the bombs. In high school, I wasn't big enough to go on the basketball team or the baseball team. So they said, okay, go on the swimming team. So I did go on the swimming team, and it was interesting. I'm not a great swimmer, but in the wintertime, I can remember walking home from school, and my hair would freeze. And it was so funny, and it felt really weird. It never felt weird.
Mr. John, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grow up?
So I ended up graduating from high school. At that time, mom and dad, they were professional people. They wanted me to go to college. but I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was graduating, I was 18 years old. I decided to go in the Air Force with my mother and father's blessings until I go in the service and find out what I really wanted to do. I spent 23 years in the Air Force. I met my wife. Well, we got married there, where she was in the service also. And I was 23 years, came back. Dealt with mainly electronics. It was just a good way to spend a life.
How was your experience working at the Kennedy Space Center?
Well, my experience at the Kennedy Space Center was the most exciting time in my whole life. Oh, I'll tell you what, the first shuttle launch was just unbelievable. So we saw all the pieces come together, and then it came the launch day, the first launch day. Now, people have come from all over the country just to see this. I was at the Launch Control Center, which is with a vehicle assembly building, and that's as close as you could get. And then they lit it off. Oh, the crackling and the thunder and the roar of the space shuttle as it lifted off. And it was awesome.
Mr. John, what inspired you to be a volunteer for the Upslide program?
The Upslide program has made a big change in my later life. Wife passed away 2.5 years ago or so, and I was really in the pits. And being married 64 years, and that leaves a hole in a person's life. And being close, my daughter, she's been a lifesaver for me. She said, go to the senior center. Well, after a couple of visits, I found the Upslide program, also known as the Friend Connection. And that made a difference in my life, because I've had a place to go, and there's new people here. In no time at all, they are all friends.
What do you do for fun at the senior center?
Well, at the senior center, I do exercises twice a week. I like to get involved. I don't like to stay home and get bored. I hate TV, so I'm out here trying to volunteer for all kinds of things.
What are some of your favorite hobbies?
Okay, I'm 88, and I'm active at the Rifle and Pistol Club here in Tallahassee. And there you think, oh, the guns are bad. No, guns aren't. The biggest thing we do at the Rifle Club is preach safety before anybody does anything. I've been a big volunteer there for 10 years, and just nurturing young people as well as adults and getting them involved.
Do you have a favorite quote that you would like to share?
My favorite quote is, "Life is good." And I believe this completely, and it gives me a positive attitude when I think about it, because life is good and a positive attitude seem to go hand in hand. And you can get a lot out of both.
I had the pleasure of interviewing John on WCTV one early morning, and I have to say he is just as pleasant drinking his morning coffee as he is right now. So thank you for being a bright smile at 5:30 in the morning. So what an example of it's not about age, and it's never too late to learn something new. So I'm not sure I could keep up with John's busy schedule, and that's no lie. Finding purpose in making life better for others. So after his daughter convinced him to check out the senior center, now he attends almost daily. First, getting involved in Upslide, Friends Connection, as you saw in that video, and he frequently shared his motto, "Life is good." Program coordinator Melanie Lakeman shares, John is always bringing in extra chairs and chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate? He often gives up his seat so new members can sit at the table with their soon-to-be new friends. And if the hour-and-a-half session is not enough, John creates what they call the after party, where everyone is invited to stay for coffee, more conversations, and sometimes John's special tasty treats. Love to hear what those include. So, John's cheer is infectious and his love for others is unwavering. He exemplifies service to others and now serves on the Senior Services Advisory Council. Helping John celebrate this evening are his children, as well as some of the many friends he's made at the Senior Center. Thank you for showing others how to be a friend connector, and thank you for your service to our country. And next, we would like to ask Bill McCown and Lillian Moulton to make their way to the stage. Hey there, lady. Don't you look snazzy too in your beautiful dress? So our next Silver Star, I'm hearing, is a true Southern gentleman who discovered a new talent after retiring. Let's take a look at what that's all about.
Where did you live as a child and what was it like?
I was born in 1937. I grew up on the farm that's been in my family for generations. The house that I'm living in, it's been remodeled since it was originally built in the late 1800s, but I followed in my ancestors' career of growing tobacco. One of my ancestors actually was credited with bringing some of the original seeds. It was a hard living, but a very rewarding one if you had a good crop. If you didn't, you prayed for the next crop.
Mr. Bill, what is the best piece of advice you got growing up?
My mother always said, suit yourself to your circumstances. And she was a very easygoing personality, which helped.
What hobbies did you have when you were my age?
I was never competitive in high school because I was all arms and legs. I'd kill myself trying to dribble. The habit was on Saturday afternoon, we went to town. Sometimes that we would park in the same place that was worse than church, and the ladies would get in each other's cars and visit. Daddy and I went down behind the house to one of the mine holes fishing. The fish were biting. We kept saying, well, just one more. Okay, well, just one more. Well, when we finally got to the house, my mother was not very pleased with us, but we did have a mess of fish.
Mr. Bill, what inspires you to paint?
My mother and my wife, they were such good friends, had their routine, and I was in their way, told me to go find something to do. So I came here to the senior center, started taking art lessons, and where my whole new career started. It opened up a whole nother world. I have shown and won awards in China, and I've shown in Barcelona. My wife was able to enjoy all the new friends and the places that we went, and finally attained signature status in the American Watercolor Society, which is a big deal.
Mr. Bill, what was your job like?
Well, I stopped farming. Farming got to be where it just wasn't profitable, and the whole industry was in a lot of problems. I went to work with the bank. I used to tease the president. I'd tell him that he didn't hire me, he repossessed me. But I went from the bank, which was the Quincy State Bank, which is now the Capital City Bank, and I went from there to the Department of Banking, what was then the Office of Comptroller, and now it's the Department of Financial Affairs.
Mr. Bill, what is your biggest accomplishment?
Surviving. No, starting a second career after I retired. The important thing about aging is don't think about it. I still forget that I'm not supposed to do certain things. I still have a tendency to want to jump off the back of the truck, and told periodically that I stay out too late. I'm learning I'm not supposed to.
Mr. Bill, what is the best piece of advice you got?
Well, one of the quotes that I sort of live by is, I'd rather wear out than rust out. And that's attributed to Miss Julia Woodward.
Bill, not only are you surviving, but you're thriving. So, Bill, you did share, though, that it feels odd to be one of the only ones selected for that Silver Star Award. Now, you credit your wife, Sarah Ruth, with this honor as much as yourself. And she would be here this evening if it was not for her Alzheimer's condition. So I'm sure that she's here with you in spirit. We saw those loving pictures you guys have shared as just a little bit of their story. So Bill and Sarah Ruth have been married for 62 years, y'all. That's a round of applause in itself. And he enjoys daily visits to see the love of his life at the senior living community. Their children, Andy and Karen, and several friends are joining him tonight at his table. Also helping celebrate with Bill this evening is Grace Robinson. She's the executive director of the Gadsden Arts Center and Museum. Grace recalls that Bill was one of the first people she met when she arrived in Quincy. He is remarkable, a talented painter, a master of his craft who eagerly shares his knowledge and love of art with anyone around him. Bill and Sarah Ruth were tireless volunteers and advocates for many years, helping Grace during those challenging early days and telling everyone everywhere about the beautiful small museum. Bill demonstrates extraordinary kindness and a wonderful sense of humor. As an artist, from local to regional to national levels, Bill has been recognized on every level. All right, can we have Gracie Leyland and Arthur Swanbro Becker to the stage? Our fourth graders are so well behaved. I'm gonna have to take a note or two. So Gracie has deep roots in the Miccosukee community, so let's see where her can-do approach has gotten her.
So, Miss Gracie, what did you do as a kid?
When I was a kid, I grew up on a farm. We had all kind of animals like the cows and the hogs, and we had mule too. We had chickens too. Well, I used to play marbles with my brothers because I had a lot of brothers, and I used to go out there and play marbles with them. We made a gangbuster, that's what we called it, and we had a oil can that we put dirt in and put a piece of wire in so we could roll it. And that's how we would roll around in the yard, and that was a lot of fun. When I first learned how to ride a bicycle, I got on that bicycle, and I fell so many times, but I kept trying until I learned how to ride that particular bicycle. And eventually, I got my own bicycle.
Miss Gracie, what was your first car?
My daddy had a truck. It was a standard shift truck. And I told him I didn't want him to get in there with me because, you know, my daddy used to fuss a lot about, oh, you're not doing this right. So I told him, I said, let me go and drive it by myself. We had a hill right up above our house. I couldn't go up that hill the first time, but I kept trying until I went up that hill. And from then on, I've been driving a standard shift truck, anything, whatever.
Miss Gracie, so what do you do in your free time?
I volunteer at the Miccosukee Community Center, where I grew up at. I just love people. I just love working with people. I go to the community center to exercise, and I walk around my trail, which is Leland Circle, every day. And then I volunteer at the Lunch and Learn Center there in Miccosukee. And I'm also on the TSC Advisory Council at my church. I'm the choir secretary, I'm a trustee, and I am the superintendent of Sunday schools. I also work with the Volunteer Senior Companion Elderly Care. I want to volunteer because my mom, before she passed, she was in hospice. And I was there with her every day, and I said, this is something that I would like to do later in life.
Miss Gracie, what have you done that you are most proud of?
I am very proud of my education. See, the white had their school and the black had their school. We were together back then. Now, my parents instilled in us back in the day that you need a good education. They always told us, Hey, if you don't do nothing but get a high school diploma, that would be something great. When I first started working at Square Deal Construction, when I got out of high school, they let me go to Lively Tech. During the time that I was working with them, they gave me time off to go down to Lively Tech to get some bookkeeping classes. So after that, I got my bookkeeping diploma from Lively Tech.
What do you think of modern technology?
Me personally, I don't like it. I guess because of my age, I just don't like it because, you know, when I call somewhere, I would like to talk to a physical person instead of, you know, the recorder. That's just me.
Have you ever done any traveling?
Traveling world all over the world has really changed my life because I always said once I retire and I could afford it, I would do that, travel. And see, now every year we take a family trip and we go somewhere everywhere.
Miss Gracie, what advice would you give to kids my age?
The advice that I would give children today, I said, just be obedient to your parents and be honest with yourself. And I would like to encourage you to never say can't. I can't do this and I can't do that. Always say I can. And always wear a smile on your face.
And those mountains Gracie has climbed and those stop signs she's detoured to get to where she is today are tremendous. Miccosukee is lucky to have you for all the things that you do. So not just show up for activities, as you heard, Gracie likes to lead. Recognizing her passion for the Miccosukee community and serving on the advisory council, Lisa Baggett, County Outreach Coordinator, says Gracie's always suggesting services and resources to share at the monthly Lunch and Learns. So as a senior companion with Elder Care Services, Ivy Ward Volunteer Coordinator shares, true to her name, Gracie leads with grace. Her unwavering dedication and compassionate spirit leaves a lasting mark on every life that she touches. Even in the fitness class, instructor Judy Epchurch says Gracie is the #1 go-to if something needs to be done or outside contacts need to be made. Now, we saw her busting down in that video. We've seen those dance moves. Is there an after party here? Because she's going to have to be the lead. And Miccosukee's community's biggest cheerleader and supporter is what you are. Both Judy and Ivy are celebrating Gracie this evening, along with her son, Michael, her siblings, Katie, Willie Mae, Jack, and Judge, as well as several close friends from the Miccosukee community. We thank you for your dedication and your commitment to this community. All right, next up we've got Ken Boutwell, and interviewed by Spencer Gary Massoud. Oh, I think they made a friend in each other, don't you? Didn't you see him light up as soon as he saw Ken? He is. Ken Boutwell is a kind, soft-spoken gentleman who knows how to make a big impact. Let's see what you've done.
Tell me about your childhood, Mr. Ken.
Okay, I was born in 1939. I was born on a dairy farm. We milked cows, sold the milk. After I started going to school, my job when I got home was to feed the chickens, help in the barn, feed the cows, feed the young calves. I got to the point where I could actually drive the equipment, so I would drive tractors. We would bale hay. I was about 13 when I started driving. I flipped a tractor bottom side upwards once when I was driving it, and when I turned around and looked, the tractor was on its bottom and his tires were still rolling. For fun, there would be beehives that were located in the trees, and we would actually cut the trees down and get the honey out of the beehives.
Mr. Ken, tell me about your family.
My wife and I met when I was on the school bus, and she was only 12 years old. And I told a friend, I was 15, I told a friend that's who I was going to marry.
Mr. Ken, what was it like working at the Pentagon?
It was a lot of fun, a lot of responsibility. I worked in the transportation area, so it was how do you transport supplies into the war zones. My job was prepare for future wars.
What was it like teaching at UF and becoming university's budgeting director?
Yeah, in 1968, I became the budget director for the University of Florida. That also was a lot of fun. I had been at the university for only 1 year as a professor when I was asked to become director of budgeting. And that actually was based upon my experience working for the Secretary of Defense.
Tell me about the award you earned at HERC.
My wife was attending classes at Temple Israel, and in her class was Barbara Goldstein. And then she learned in the process that I was writing a book about the Holocaust and started helping them raise money to help fund the teaching of the Holocaust in the public schools. It's important because if you don't know his history, then there's a good chance that people will repeat it.
Mr. Ken, tell me about your involvement with the Capital Health Plan.
In 1978, I was having lunch with a friend. We were talking about the high cost of health care, and she said, "Why don't we quit talking about it and do something?" And I said, "What can we do?" And she said, "We can start a health plan." And so we did. We started Capital Health Plan. There were 4 of us who started it. And today, Capital Health Plan serves 135,000 people in our community.
Mr. Ken, how have you remained active as you age?
Since I've retired, I have remained active. Every day I get up and try to work on different projects. So I also helped found an organization called Choose Tallahassee. We're encouraging people to retire in Tallahassee like they do to other cities in Florida, because every time 100 people move to Tallahassee, it creates about 90 new jobs in our community. And then I work with my son. We have a private equity company that I work with about 10 hours a week. I work in organizations that help other people. Currently, I'm helping the refugees that have relocated here from other countries. Terrible situations in their own lives. Afghanistan people, for example. They are looking for jobs to support themselves. It's called the Tallahassee Refugee Connections Committee.
Mr. Ken, what advice do you have for kids my age?
My advice is that whatever you do the best you can. Because all of your life, you're going to be competing with other people, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your grades at school. And I already know because you have a black belt in Taekwondo. So you're already on that path of doing the best you can at whatever you do.
Ken, I don't know how you have enough hours in the day to get all of that done. And come on, black belt in Taekwondo. Nobody make him mad.
Don't mess with him.
Right. So, having become familiar with just a few of Ken's many accomplishments in that video, and to those who know Ken, that was a very understated example of the impact that he has made on people's lives over the years. And he keeps making them in our community on a day-to-day basis. Ken says he is motivated by the simple philosophy that we're here to help each other. His book, Let Justice and Mercy Flow, challenges the readers to reject racism and bigotry and to embrace love and compassion. Barbara Goldstein, Executive Director of the Holocaust Education Resource Center, shares that Ken received the Humanitarian Award for the organization. He shows much empathy and generosity and makes a difference where he gives this time. We need people like you in this community to make those differences and to still cross those barriers. Ken remains actively involved in Capital Health Plan and Chooses Tallahassee, which for both he helped found. More recently, his focus has been volunteering with the Tallahassee Refugee Connection, as you saw. Another example that it's not about age and never too late to do good. Is it Abe Lemons? Abe? Okay. A college basketball coach once said, "The trouble with retirement is that you never get a day off." And I'm not sure what Ken would do with a day off except for find a new mission. Thanks to your commitment to serve people, Tallahassee community is a much better place because you are here. Ken is joined this evening by his children, grandchildren, and many wonderful friends this evening. Thank you for the lives you've touched. think that was Auburn. All right, next up, we want to invite Margaret Lynn Duggar and Fiona Burns. For 53 years, Margaret Lynn Duggar has been a trailblazer and a strong advocate for seniors in the state. Let's take a look at what she's accomplished.
Margaret Lynn, tell me about your childhood.
Well, I was born in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and lived in New York City until I was 5. And we moved to St. Augustine, Florida. And it was a wonderful place to grow up. You could ride your bike everywhere, cross the Bridge of Lions, go to the movies for 25 cents on Saturday. And it was a great education, even though it was a small county, small school system. It helped me advance at Florida State.
What's the craziest thing you did growing up?
When I was in high school, they built a new school way out of town, and my parents both worked. I was an only child, and there was no way for them to get me to the school. I was driving, and I drove to the school without a license. And one day at lunch, another friend and I was telling her, I said, I'd like to go get a hamburger for lunch. Why don't we skip school and do that? We left and drove all over, got our hamburgers, drove all over town. I was such a good student, they thought I had been kidnapped from school. And they had the police all looking for us. I got into a lot of trouble. It was the last 2 weeks in school, and they made me have detention every morning for an hour before school.
Margaret Lynn, tell me about something you learned when you were my age.
There's a saying that people will forget what you said to them, but they'll never forget how they felt when you said it. And I have carried that through my life.
What inspired you to work with senior citizens?
When I graduated, I taught for several years, and I was teaching in Perry, and then I was in the middle of the year hired to start Meals on Wheels in Tallahassee. I was only 27 years old, and nobody knew what aging was or Meals on Wheels was. I wondered how we were going to get the second year of a grant. A local committee had written it, volunteers. I worried that my mother and I were going to have to cook meals for all of those first Meals on Wheels recipients, 50 of them. I had no idea what was going to happen, and that it would lead to 52 years of work in the field of aging.
How did you choose the Armory building for the senior center?
And so while I was at Meals on Wheels, I also helped start the Senior Center. City of Tallahassee City Commission appropriated $100,000, appointed an advisory committee to tell them how to create or where to create a senior center. And we tromped through all these buildings in Tallahassee. The Armory was the only building that was big enough, and we had tried over several years to get the recreation department to let us have it. I went to Cliff Hinkle, the city manager, and get it for me, and Cliff Hinkle did.
What do you like to do outside of your career?
My husband was from Tallahassee. I met him while I was here at FSU. We had a very active social life, travel life. We just enjoyed life. He died about almost 2 years ago. I entertain for dinner, guests for dinner 2 or 3 nights a week here.
Margaret Lynn, what is one moment during your career that you will never forget?
I was honored to be part of the team that put together the FSU College of Medicine. They really wanted me to put together a political support for the College of Medicine. It was one of the proudest days of my career because I knew I had done something besides Meals on Wheels that was going to impact the lives of older people for way beyond my time. I also love serving as the State Director on Aging under 2 governors, Bob Graham and Bob Martinez. I spent 12 years doing work locally and regionally, and then I got to do things statewide. And he and I put together a state program, Community Care for the Elderly, and it's for frail older people who need services in their home.
What advice would you give children my age?
Focus on what you want and go for it. A quote by a famous woman in history was, We write our own destiny. We become what we do.
So, Margaret Lynn, whether it's playing hooky at school or starting up a lasting program like Meals on Wheels, it's clear you don't do anything halfway. Kelly Audie, founder and director of the Oasis Center for Women and Girls, shared her praise. For decades, Margaret Lynn has been one of the leading experts for nonprofit boards of directors in Tallahassee. She has influenced generations of board members and executives, helping shape the work of hundreds of organizations. She doesn't just build better boards, she builds better leaders. She raises the bar for all of us. She is a remarkable professional and mentor. Margaret Lynn has left her mark on every aspect of senior services at every level, from the first director of what is now Elder Care Services to the Area Agency on Aging to Florida Aging and Adult Services, to serving on national and international boards, to helping attain, develop, and craft the geriatric division of the Florida State's College of Medicine. Senior Center Director Sheila Saylor says, "It is an honor and a privilege to have Margaret Lynn in our community and value her support and input in everything aging. So many of us owe our careers to the efforts Margaret Lynn made, including finding and establishing the Tallahassee Senior Center on North Monroe." Margaret Lynn is accompanied by many friends here at the event tonight, and we are also pleased to announce that the 2025 Florida Council of Aging's Board of Trustees has purchased a Galaxy Wall star in her honor. Thank you for your many years of serving seniors and our community. So be it learning how to ride bikes or playing with the cows and the chickens in the pasture or serving our country and then telling their stories on how they got to where they are today. These individuals, the 8 individuals that we've honored tonight, are incredible, and like I mentioned before, are what make up this place that we call Tallahassee and what we like to call home. And to those 4th graders, it was an honor and a privilege to meet you as well. You don't know the importance of these pathways these people have paved right now, and it'll be a long time before you probably do, and for it to really, really set in and have this impact on you. But you do have trailblazers in this room sitting next to you, and you have the honor of speaking and hearing their stories. So those are the 2025 Silver Stars. Can we get another round of applause for all 8? And of course, you can see our 8 honorees illustrate that retirement is not the end of the road. It's just the beginning of an open highway. So we're going to, again, one more time, give our seniors a round of applause, and I'll turn it back over to Tony.
So I can honestly say you share the warmth and the charm that Anna and Art brought to this, didn't she, Anna? That's fantastic. Okay, in closing, I have a few more thank yous to mention, and then I'll wrap up the evening with some highlights, things that I heard, and share a few going away thoughts. So wait for, if you don't mind, don't leave early. First, almost as on cue, Betsy Barfield Photography, thank you so much for what you do for the Silver Stars. Jameson Red with Red Camera Video Productions for the excellent video interviews with the stars and the students. Thank you both, and Jason Flom. Amelia Moore and students at Cornerstone Learning Community for partnering with us again to do those video interviews. Hilly Fields for the stars, corsages, and boutonnieres. Lovely. Thank you so much. Look for the Silver Stars on WCOT. Thanks to Tom Bronikowski. Thank you. Gil Despot, Bram Hagen, Karen Kursky, and the entire City of Tallahassee communications team. I appreciate you all so much. And if we didn't go a little overboard on this next one, really wouldn't be fair. So finally, we need to thank and recognize the staff at the Tallahassee Senior Center and the Foundation. Would you all please stand for a moment so that we can... Whether visiting the Senior Center or any of the 180 activities taking place monthly, you will feel the heart behind the team effort. I appreciate that hand, and we can't thank you enough for all that you do. Thanks CHP, TSC, Silver Stars, and look forward to joining you all again next year.